Greetings and welcome to another video. This content is solely for educational purposes. In today's video, I will cover a few topics such as enumeration, exploitation, and post-exploitation procedure, including privilege escalations on a Windows 10 machine. The main focus of this video is going to be Metasploit post modules, how to use Metasploit within the post modules. In order to do that, you have to have a Meterpreter sessions or any Metasploit sessions opened. Otherwise, it's not possible using the post module. And it's called post for a reason. So those post modules are for post exploitations. Now, the target that I will tag, the main victim target is going to be Windows 10 running on the Oracle VirtualBox. It is also running a vulnerable HTTP file server. This HTTP file server is an open source web server designed for convenient file sharing. It is part of this video to just show you quickly how to perform this attack and so that we don't have to take too long. So without further ado, let's just start with the service post create SQL start. Post SQL start is going to prompt the calling password. This is going to initialize the DB on Metasploit or database would allow us to build a workspace and then cache all the information. To run Metasploit, you can type msf console lowercase -q to remove the banner from Metasploit. Let's give it a few seconds. Okay, so now I'll type workspace lowercase a. This is going to add the actual workspace. You can name it whichever way you want to name it. I'll name it Windows 10. So if I type host, there is nothing on the host services, nothing under the services. I'm going to do a quick enumerations on port 80 using the DB nmap, which is the versions of the map within Metasploit. Capital A. The capital A basically is going to go through enumerating different services versions, try to enumerate the operating system, perform also trace route, and so forth. With the uppercase P and lowercase n, I'm going to ask nmap and tell nmap the actual host is app. 192.168.1.95 is the target IP address. Oh, let me just interrupt that and use the port 80, HTTP port 80. Let's wait a few seconds. It shouldn't take too long because there's only one port. Awesome. You can see the port is open and is an HTTP file server 2.3, also known as HFS 2.3. So I can open my good old web browser. I'm already in the 192.168.195. You can tell that this is the HTTP file server. Here you can upload different files, share them over the network. And this one particularly, if I type HFS 2.3 exploit, it tells you that is vulnerable of a remote command execution under the vulnerability CVE 2014-6287. So if I'm going to a new terminal, type search exploit HFS 2.3 under quotes Metasploit, you can see that Metasploit indeed has a module known as remote command executions for the HTTP file server, and this is named Rejecto. So if I copy this Rejecto and then type search, we have the module known as Rejecto HFS executable. Copy this module, type use, paste, and type info. It's going to give you the current settings. We know that we need to provide the R host for the IP target. The R port is already 480. The target URI is correct. It's /. It could be something else. You need to go and check. In my case, it's just /. Also, the description is going to give you the full descriptions of how this is going to work and how the remote command execution will be performed on the Windows operating machine that is running this vulnerable server. If you want to know more information, so you can follow those reference. But the only thing that we need, in my case, I need to focus is just setting up the R host within 192.168.1.95 IP target, and then simply run this module. It's going to send the malicious module. See, let's give it a few seconds, and here we are. Since info, we're successfully able to obtain a Metasploit session. So in this Metasploit session, if I type get UID, I'm the actual username admin. If I type the get priv, it's going to show me what privilege do I have. And in this case, I have really few privilege. So if I use the get system, the get system is going to do an automatic privilege escalation, but not all the time it's going to work unless the user actually performs some kind of like administrative privilege executions with the USC. And the USC is the user account content or the security level when you try to execute a programs or an executable that can change the system. It's going to prompt the USC. That prompt message is going to tell you if you have the administrative privilege, you can just press enter. Otherwise, you have to provide the administrative password. In order to identify if this user is part of the local group administrative, I can type shell. And you can see now we have a CMD shell, similarly to the one that we will get in our Windows operating system. And if I type net local group administrator, you can see that the admin is actually a member of the local group administrator. Therefore, there could be a possibility to leverage and perform a privilege escalation by bypassing the USC, the user account. So let's exit. Now I'm going to press Control plus Z. Yes, we have the background session. So if you type sessions, you'll see that we have two sessions. This one is the one that we have, session 2. There are two overlapping sessions for some reason. But in any case, so we have the sessions open. So what I can do now, I can use a well-known host module. It's called Windows Suggester that comes within Metasploit. So if you type search, type post, the type is not auxiliary, it's not exploitation, but it's post, followed by the platform Windows and the name Suggester. I'm breaking down and filter the search command in order to not be, minimize the number of modules. In this case, I was able to just edit the right one because it is only one module about the suggester. So you can press enter, type options again, and just set the sessions you like. I'm going to set this session number 2, and then run the execute the module. It's going to go through all different type of exploit. In this case, it's going to collect 2,407 exploit. With those 2,407 exploit, it might going to go through with 50 and maybe only 2 or 3 or 10 will be vulnerable for this specific target. Maybe 0. We'll see. I'm going to give it a few seconds. It's now going through different exploit. There are 41 in total, and with these 41, there are only 2 that could be vulnerable with a specific target IP. And I'm going to use the first one, the bypass USC, which is the user account control. And the user account control, once again, is when you try to execute a command or an executable that could change the system operating system. And so you have to have the administrative privilege. As we checked previously with the local group administrator admin, the user that we are up against able to obtain the reverse shell is actually in member, and therefore this might work. So we can type use clear options, set session two. We can also change the L port. We don't want to interfere with the same L port, so I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. And also I'm going to change the payload to Windows x64 architecture, which is a 64-bit with reverse TCP. So set payload Windows x64 method reverse TCP. And then also we'll set the target to 1. We type options. You can see the target now is x64. We're running on port 123. This is my Kali Linux IP target, IP address on session 2. Let's run the modules. We have them interpreted to sessions 5. And you can see if I do the sysinfo, we're now on the 64 architecture. If I do get UAD, we're still the admin. But if I now use the get privs, you will see that privilege, we have way more privilege, and therefore I can use the get system. And within get system, we were able to impersonate as the NT system authority. So if I type get UAD again, we are the NT authority system. And this is sessions 5, I believe. So if I put a control Z, yes, type session, this is under 5. We are the NT system authority. And this is exactly going to be the sessions that I will use for post modules on Metasploit. Now, what is the advantage of using Metasploit post exploitation modules? It will basically allow to further, information gathering and to gather more, informations and perform more enumerations that can give you more understanding and perhaps even identify something that we couldn't be able to do it just manually. So we can go back and type search. When we type search, we want to type the type of module. In this case, it's going to be cost, platform, once again, Windows, and then the name. Yeah. So we have 175 different post modules, gather post module in Windows. Some of those are very interesting. For example, we can enumerate the drivers. We can perform enumerations on the drivers. So if I copy these and type use paste, and type info, it's going to tell you that this module will list physical drives and logical volumes. So I'm going to set this on session 5 as we have the NT authority. And you can see that we have some physical drives C and D. Let's try again with a different post module. Let's gather more informations. Maybe we can check for applications. What are the applications the system is running? And type use. Actually search enum application. And then type copy the module, use, type info. It's going to tell me that use paste info. It's going to tell me that this module will enumerate all the different installed application on Windows system. Very cool. Let's try this one. Set session 5. Let's run. And you can see the installed applications are Google Chrome. We have Microsoft Edge. We have OneDrive. We also know that this is running on VirtualBox, and it's also telling us the different versions. So if there is anything interesting here as well, we can identify it and then expose that and show it to the software developer and tell them to update a specific version of this drive because it's outdated. It's running a vulnerable patch and so on and so forth. So this is good for, it's a good module to gather extra information in no time. Let's go back again. Let's repeat the actual search to find a different, maybe we can try to enumerate who is logged on the system. So if I type search Canon log, this is going to be the module. Let's copy the module, type use, and then type info again. Just read the description. This module will enumerate current and recently logged on Windows user. Awesome. Set the session again to number 5. Run. As you can see, it's going to give me all different usernames within the system, including the admin, which is recently logged. And also, it's also giving me the SID of each of these users, admin and Bob. Very good information. We can also check for the hash, the different hashes you can do in 2 ways, whether using the POS module of the hash dump, or you can just get access to the Metasploit session. You can do that by typing sessions 5, and you will be back to the Metasploit session. Get UID, you can see I'm the NT authority system. So if I type hash dump, it's now going to dump all the hashes from admin, Bob, guest, and so forth. Now I can use those hashes whether to perform past the hash, or I can crack each of those hash. I can also load Kiwi. By loading Kiwi, this is the Mimikatz version of Metasploit. If I type help, you can see I can use different command. I can use the LSA dump, the actual SAM, and it's going to go through each NTLM, Kerberos ticket, syskey, and so forth with different, with all different victims. I can also use the LSA to dump the actual secret. You can see we have more information. We have the DPA system, the domain name, and many other informations that we can gather. You can also use the hash dump within the post module. Again, if you're going back and we search that, we can search for the hash dump. Post Windows gathers my hash dump, probably this one. Maybe actually no, this one. Post Windows gather hash dump. Copy. Use paste. This is a different way of doing it. You just need to set the session 5. You see this module will dump the local user account on the same database, and then is going through the same database. And you can see the same result as we did previously on the interpreter session. We can also search for host, platform, Windows, and let me see, main gather, see if there is another post module that is interesting. You can check for the TeamViewer password. If the system is using TeamViewer, it's going to go and gather the TeamViewer password. You can go also with Skype, perform some post module enumeration with PowerShell environment. You can also do enumeration with MySQL hash dump. And so basically it's going to dump the MySQL or Microsoft SQL password, the hash that comes with the Microsoft SQL. You can also enumerate Google Chrome. If there is anything interesting in Google Chrome, you can dump it. You got the idea. This is post modules. You can do a lot of information gathering in no time. You can gather so many information that could be very, very useful. Well, that's it for this video. Hopefully you like it, and I will see you on to the next.